What's up, it's cinemashogun here, and America is now basically at war with the Houthis in Yemen. I told you all that I thought it was very likely that this would happen a few weeks ago, and now it's happening. But when I say that we're at war, it's an operation, okay? It's an operation. You have to understand that America has not technically been at war since World War II. I know that we had war in Vietnam. We had multiple wars in the Middle East, Korea. All of these different operations all around the world throughout decades and decades of time. However, the last time the U.S. officially declared war was in World War II. So this is just like, I don't know, kind of like a play on words, if you will. I don't know how to describe it, but all of these other conflicts that we've been in, they aren't technically wars, even though they are wars. So right now they're calling it an operation, but basically because of the Houthis, they continue to strike all of these ships. They're hijacking ships. They're striking ships with drones, missiles. They're targeting Navy ships. They've been going crazy. I made several videos about it. I haven't been talking about it much over the past couple of weeks because every day, it's literally every day. Every day, there has not been a day that goes by that the Houthis haven't been up to something out in the Red Sea, taking over ships, you name it, this, that, and the third. Now, though, America has created this task force along with a few other countries, and we're not just going to be protecting ships as they try to travel through this area. It looks like we're going to be launching possibly a counteroffensive against the Houthis, but that hasn't been set in stone yet, and they definitely have not started talking about that yet. But I do think we're going to see some strikes on the Houthis in Yemen. But as of right now, this task force is there to respond to, the threat of Houthis trying to hijack more ships. Some countries have already stopped sending ships through this area. And places like Egypt, they've lost millions upon millions, maybe even billions of dollars at this point because, these are cargo ships coming through with goods that are being hijacked, they're being redirected, they're being hit with missiles. It's been really crazy, and it's disrupting trade throughout that entire region of the world. And, a lot of different countries have interest in that region of the world. And some of these goods, they're coming from various different countries around the world. So when you start messing with people's money, you got to be careful. So the Houthis might be biting off more than they can chew here, because last time I checked, there are dozens and dozens of ships in the area that are going to be part of this task force. And I'm really waiting for when we start seeing some strikes on Houthi targets in Yemen. And I do think that's going to happen soon. But for now, let's go ahead and roll this news clip, and then I'll be right back with a few more thoughts.
These Houthi rebel attacks on ships, military and otherwise, along the Red Sea that have been targeted right now, no matter where they come from. And a good many of them have left the area for the better part of valor to say, we got to be safe. And now along comes the Pentagon working with U.S. allies to say that a task force has been agreed to counter these attacks. Let's get the latest from Jennifer Griffin. Jennifer.
Neil, the Defense Department just announced the U.S. has formed a new maritime safety coalition with 9 other countries to secure the Red Sea shipping lanes. The group will be called Operation Prosperity Guardian and includes the U.K., Bahrain, Canada, France, Italy, the Netherlands, Norway, the Seychelles, and Spain. The announcement came from Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, who is in the Middle East.
These attacks are reckless, dangerous, and they violate international law. And so we're taking action to build an international coalition to address this threat.
At least 11 international shipping companies said they have ceased shipping through the Red Sea and Bab el-Mandeb Strait near Yemen as the threat of Houthi attacks keeps increasing. Late last week, industry titan Maersk announced it was temporarily halting use of the Red Sea. The French company CMA CGM and German transport company Hapag-Lloyd also suspended Red Sea transit over the weekend. British oil giant BP announced a similar rerouting of its vessels. Quote, in light of the deteriorating security situation for shipping in the Red Sea, BP has decided to temporarily pause all transits through the Red Sea. However, the Wall Street Journal reports oil was still sailing through the Red Sea on Monday. Early this morning, the Norwegian-owned Cayman Island-flagged chemical shipping vessel MV Swan Atlantic issued a distress call. A Houthi attack drone had struck the tanker. The same U.S. Navy destroyer, the USS Carney, that released this video 2 weeks ago, showing it intercepting Houthi missiles and drones in several hours-long defensive battles over the past month, answered the distress call today. On Saturday, the USS Carney shot down a swarm of 14 one-way attack drones launched from Yemen. The U.S. is caught between UAE and Saudi Arabia, who favor different approaches to the Houthis. The Saudis, who recently agreed to a ceasefire with the Houthis, want to negotiate, and UAE wants to strike at the missile launchers. Neither of them have joined the new U.S.-led maritime coalition, and the Houthis are threatening to attack this U.S.-led group. Neil?
All right, Jennifer, thank you.
Assessment of Iran's direct involvement or any direct involvement in any of these attacks changed?
All I can tell you is what I've said before. I mean, they are certainly providing the means, the tools, the capabilities, the weapons through which the Houthis are conducting these attacks. The Houthis may be pulling the trigger, but as I've said, Iran's giving them the guns.
Now, a lot of people might look at what the Houthis are doing and they might think it's not much, but they have successfully disrupted the economies of several countries in the area, countries who align themselves more so with the U.S. and Israel. Now, I do view this situation that's going on with the Houthis, it looks like it would lead to a direct path with a confrontation with Iran. From the way the U.S. is talking, they almost don't view the Houthis as, how can I put this? Even though the Houthis are the ones that are carrying out these strikes, they're basically looking at it as if Iran is carrying out these strikes because they claim that Iran is the one arming them. These are Iran's plans. The Houthis are basically a proxy for Iran. So the way that the U.S. has been wording things is almost as if they're overlooking the Houthis and they're just looking directly at Iran. So I wonder if this little operation, or during this little operation, how much will they focus on the Houthis and how much focus will be directly on Iran? Because a confrontation or a war with the Houthis is basically just a direct path to war with Iran. Now, one thing I am happy about is that the U.S. is not doing this alone. I do think something needed to be done about what the Houthis were doing, but I did not want the U.S. to act alone because I'm tired of the U.S. having to do everything. We have allies for a reason. And a lot of the ships that are traveling through these areas, the crew members are on board. They're not American. They're from other countries. These are goods and stuff that are being transported from other countries, not necessarily, in America's interest. So I don't think America should be the only one out there fending off the Houthis, fighting to protect these international ships that are coming from everywhere else. You know what I mean? So we got other countries on board. So we're going to see what happens. Obviously, this is ramping up tensions in the area. The Houthis say that they're not backing down. So the next couple of weeks will be interesting seeing how this plays out, because if the Houthis are going to keep their foot on the pedal and they're going to keep attacking as many ships as they've been attacking the last couple of weeks, and we know that this new operation is already underway, there's no way that we don't see some major retaliations, if you ask me. But let's just go ahead and wait and see how things play out. For now, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you're feeling generous and you want to donate to the channel, you could do so via Cash App or super thanks. But for totally free, you can help the channel by simply liking the video, subscribing, sharing, ringing the notification bell, all of that good stuff. But with that being said, I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.